It's a wake-up call. So this month, in the month of May, we're going to do a series on self-awareness. And there's two reasons for this. Many of you know that Hazel Voss, who serves on our board, is also taking a series of classes to apply to become a minister. So we are going to go on the journey with him, and so you are all invited in the month of May to do this class with us. And it'll be adjusted a little bit because you don't have homework and he does. And since I am doing this with him, you're going to get the benefits so I don't do twice the work. So I think this is a wonderful way for us to begin to look at within ourselves what is true for us. When we become more self-aware, we begin to examine our belief systems, our values. He's going to specifically do a little thing with the Enneagrams. If you've never done that, it's not just a personality test, but it is accumulation of your life's journey and how you represent yourself in the world. So you can go as deep or as light as you would like in this, but we are going to go on a path of self-awareness. I'm going to invite you to close those outer eyes. Just take a nice breath in this space. We are so very grateful for this family, this community of friends, this fellowship, for all the little things that people do, for the big expressions they are in the wholeness and fullness of life, from our garage sales to our blood giving, to coming and attending classes, to joining in whenever help is needed, grilling a burger, moving a table, setting up shop. We are so grateful for each and every person's intention in this holy space, this sanctuary of our hearts, for we know the church is not the walls, but it is the community that comes together. And we're willing to learn and share and evolve and take in messages that we discern for ourselves if that is the truth of our being. And we have the freedom and the courage to do that. We are brave. We are brave. We are amazing. When you say the word amazing, your mouth opens wide. Just say it, amazing. We are amazing, and we are so blessed and so grateful for your presence here today. And for all these good things, we say thank you, God, Spirit, and so it is. Amen.
Thank you, Terrence. That's the ball game, isn't it? God is, I am, right here, right now. Reverend Tracey's theme is, what is the magic of being me? God is, I am, may be a clue. So join me in the sweet space of meditation, would you? Just take some deep breaths, close your eyes, relax your body. Feel the groundedness of your feet on the floor, the seat supporting you, by the loving intentions flowing through this room. All of it is support for us during these moments. We know God as omnipresence. Omnipresence. God is the allness, the everything, the everyone, the every moment, every circumstance, infinite and eternal. The perfect order and balance. This is God's omnipresence. Think now of God's indwelling presence. Who are you really? You are a unique and perfect individualized expression of the One, of divine source. Your true identity is your true God nature, Buddha mind, Christ consciousness. However you think of it, it's all good. Our awareness of this nature is magnified when we take moments in silence. As we become aware of the still small voice, the inner knower, that's the indwelling presence of God. And last, we are aware of God as the manifest presence, the omnipresence, the indwelling presence, the manifest presence. That's how God shows up as each of us here on earth in the human realm. how we express God using our individual uniqueness, our talents, our gifts, our experiences, even our preferences. It's all our unique way of expressing God. We have the power and the sacred choice to allow more or less of God to express through our lives. It is this manifest presence that we seek to learn more about right now. So now take another deep breath and then silently ask the question, how do I allow God to show up as me? Ask the question, but please don't work to answer it. Tune your inner ear to the frequency of the eternal divine broadcast, simply allowing information and insight to rise up from that indwelling presence of God. Just let the magic of you begin to reveal itself in its own way, in the silence. How does God express its nature through me and as me? So now, with a couple of deep breaths, return your awareness to this time and place in gratitude for whatever we may have seen or heard, trusting that information continues to come to us, to be revealed as long as we stay open to it throughout this service, throughout this day, and beyond. I affirm for each of us that divine source expresses itself through and as us, as our lives. Therefore, we are blessed, and we are the bodhisattvas, the blessings. This is the holy order, the perfect balance, the magic of your life and mine, and so it is. Amen.
Wrote this song about a year ago, and it's about understanding that even though there's troubles and hard times in life, there's still a light. There's still a light at the end of the tunnel, but the light's not coming from out there, and the light's not coming from up there. The light is coming from inside of you. All right? That's where the light is. That's where the magic is, inside of you. This song is called Hope, the Light Inside of You. Hope that's going to be that. Here we go. Here we go. Everybody's been hurt before. It seems like nobody even cares anymore. You felt the pain of losing your best friend. It was a beautiful relationship, I know. But even though we're under turbulent skies, I know as we move forward the sun will rise. So let your hope, not your hurt, shape the future of this life. Just open up and see the light. Let your hope, not your hurt, shape the future of this life. Just open up and see the light inside of you. Inside of you. Where there is hope, there is life. So I choose an open heart to be my guide. And as I enter into any space, I bring a smile to every single face I can. Yeah, do you do that? I can. And even though we're under turbulent skies, I know as we move forward the sun will rise. You know why? So let your hope, not your hurt, shape the future of this life. Just open up and see the light. Let your hope, not your hurt, shape the future of this life. Just open up and see the light inside of you. Yeah, inside of you. When I think of hope, I think of the H as healing. I think of the O as being open. I think of the P as the possibilities. And the E as being encouraged to be that light. I'm healing. I'm open. I see the possibilities. And I'm encouraged to be the light. I'm healing. I'm open. I see the possibilities. And I'm encouraged to be. So let your hope, not your hurt, shape the future of this life. Just open up and see the light. Let your hope, not your hurt, shape the future of this life. Just open up and see the light. Let your hope, not your hurt, shape the future of this life. Just open up and see the light inside of you. Yeah, inside of you. Yeah. Inside of you.
Talk about self-awareness, hope, healing, open to the possibilities, encouraged. That's great. Like you can just feel the essence of you went someplace really deep and you begin to ask those real questions. The why am I here? What is my purpose? When the world around me seems chaotic and turbulent, what do I hold on to? Where can I be in the midst of all this chaos, traveling through the storm of life and have that hope? I think a lot of us feel that way right now, that we are looking and then we are understanding from a deeper depth that it's nothing outside of us. For us to find that true inner spirit, that inner knowledge, that inner comfort, it's exactly where we have to go. And we have to believe there's a possibility, an openness, a receptivity, a wonder, an awe, a curiosity, that there is much more than what it appears to be on the visible surface. And I think that's a big journey in our self-awareness path. That I heard the words healing. We are already whole, but some of us felt a little discombobulated, and we're trying to figure out how to get back to that place where we feel good and strong and vibrant. So we're going to open up that door and say, I am open to returning to my wholeness and whatever path of healing that takes. And I'm going to open myself up in wonder and awe and curiosity for opportunities to discover something different than what I've always done, and to discover something different than what the world is telling me today. Possibilities, infinite possibilities, and that beautiful piece of encouragement. Like we're our own cheerleaders, right? You know, we got an outer world and it has its own expression, and sometimes it lifts us up, and sometimes it pushes us away and we begin to doubt. And we look at ourselves and we wonder if we're living a true life, if we're living an authentic life. Are we living the life that we came here to live? And we evaluate all that. And then there's that brief, can you just see it? Like you're the 6 o'clock in the morning and the birds are chirping. And if you could be down at the beach and you see the water is beginning to change color as the sun comes up, and all of a sudden you're lifted up because there's so much more than who we are of our little selves. The everything, the encouragement, and I will call the big vast love, the big vast love machine. And we're all invited to be a part of it. That was just beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. So here we are on this 4-week series of self-awareness. And we're using a book, Conscious Living by Gay Hendricks. And this book was introduced to me in 2019 as part of our fall program. And at the time that I came in, our present board member, Bob Charpentier, was running the fall group, had a little mishap, and he said, can you step in? Hello, intern. Guess what? You're going to teach for a few weeks. And it was a beautiful experience because people brought all of who they were to the table for us to go deeper and dive into what are we about? What do we believe? What is our value system? where we came from and the message that has been poured into us from early childhood, as we evolve in our own consciousness, that doesn't always fit anymore. And we may or may not give ourselves permission to look at it differently. For those of you who may remember, do you remember Paul Harvey and the rest of the story? All right, this is our path of awareness, the rest of our story. Once we begin to take notice and live at a more conscious level, we cannot passively sit by. So once you have this brilliant spark, this idea, this opening, this awakening, you don't get to go back to sleep. You are now alert. You are now awakened to a new idea, and how you process it is what's going to turn out to be your story in life. Your story in life. So we are reawakening to our true selves, and what I love to discover about the Unity teachings, we are both divine and human at the same time. So that means our connection to Source, to each other, is that divine realm, that spirit realm, and we show up individually in our own consciousness with the lessons that we've come to bring in and the lessons that we've come to learn. But connected in this greater, higher consciousness is that spiritual realm, that place of the invisible realm, that place that we may not be able to touch it and hold it, but just like the concept of love, there is this inner wholeness, this inner spiritual realm that surrounds each and every one of us, supporting us, encouraging us, loving us if we choose to partake in it. So you may or may not know, last weekend, in the great state of Texas, I went to a retreat. It was a meditation retreat, and I had to look closely. For those of you who know me, I thought, oh, this better not be a silent retreat. If you're going to make me go through 5 days of silence, I'm not sure I'm going to make it. But there's this beautiful soul, Paulette Pipe, a great Brit, and she has been doing silent meditations at Unity for 12 years. And she's decided to kind of spread her wings and come to different communities, and I sure hope we can bring her here one day. But it was a 3-day retreat with also Reverend Michael Gott from the Unity of Houston, a bunch of his folks, but a bunch of her folks that have never come to a Unity church at all. And she called it the stillness of the oasis. The stillness of the oasis. Now, when you imagine an oasis, I'm thinking a desert, a wasteland, where there is no greenery until you get to the very middle, which could be like our soul in turbulent times. We get to this little juicy place. And in this retreat, she said, I want you to be very careful, to be very mindful of all of your actions. So last Sunday morning, as I'm doing the old gel in the hair to get something to stand up and not be flat in my face, I'm washing my hands at the sink. Imagine, take your hands, you're washing your hands at the sink. Everybody here, wash your hands with me. We're going to scrub on the outside. We're going to turn over and scrub on the inside. And at some point, see this? You're in prayer position. Look at that. Mindfulness. We're going to be tender and gentle. We're going to scrub all the stuff off we no longer want. All that hair gel's going right down the sink. And at some point, as you're doing this, look, you're holding hands. You are holding hands with your beloved. You can call that God or Spirit or you. You're holding hands. And this morning, as I reviewed my notes, I thought, have you ever held a child's hand in yours and washed their hands? You do it tenderly. You do it with great love. You do it with a watchful eye. You are mindful about taking care of this child. So as I rinsed off my hands and let all that go down the drain, and I sat there for a minute and I thought, wow, such a simple concept. But how often do we go through our daily routine and we just go through it? We don't think about how we got there, what we put on. We don't remember the drive. But in the simpleness of washing hands, prayer pose, holding hands, a simple technique in mindfulness. So as you can imagine, they were just absolutely delightful to be with a group of like-minded folks just like we are in here. And I tease all the time when I go to a different Unity church, it's just our kissing cousins. You would know them as well as you know the people here. You may not know all the ins and outs, but we are all one. We are all one consciousness, and we are individualized expressions. Because the great creator of the universe, that flow, that energy of the stars in the sky in the night, that is in each and every one of us. And so to be in the presence of other folks who believe as we believe, and even in our belief systems, we all came from somewhere. And some people came from no belief system. But we come together and we set the intention. We set the intention of a greater awareness of who we are and how we're going to show up in the world and what we bring into this world. And sometimes it's merely taking a breath and receiving what we're here to receive. For some of us, it's very humbling. Is it humbling sometimes to receive? For many of us, we grew up give, provide, take care of, and it feels almost selfish or arrogant to think to receive. But to receive is a cycle of giving and receiving. And if anyone were to ever come up to you and say, Marilyn, I sure like that shirt on you today. And Marilyn were to say, oh, this old thing, well, she just turned away, you're good. So what do? Thank you. Thank you. Absolutely. So we keep that cycle of giving and receiving alive. And part of this is our own evaluation of ourselves, because oftentimes the things that we like in others may be the very thing we like in ourselves, and likewise the thing we don't like in others may be the very thing we don't like in ourselves. And we have an absolute opportunity to review that and say, is this the truth of who I am? And it could be the truth of who you are in just that moment. Just that moment. You got a phone call. You got a flat tire. Something happened. Or it could be the magnificence of this silly person gets up on the stage and tells you to wash your hands and be prayerful, be mindful. And we get an opportunity to examine, what does that mean to us in our lives? What part of this do we want to take in and build and create and evolve from? And what part are we ready to let go of? What part are we ready to clean out and clear out to make room for something more? And there's times that we do this kind of work that something pops up and triggers us and we had no idea we had done that work. We had done it over and over and over again, and there is no mistake. Because if we haven't healed, it's going to be revealed. If we have not healed, it is going to be revealed. And then we have another opportunity, that beautiful hope, that courage, those possibilities, that wonderment, where we can say, I don't have all the answers. I don't have all the answers. Because if I don't have all the answers, that means I'm teachable. That means I'm receptive to learn, to hear, to grow, to evolve. Because if I know everything, I don't need anything else. And if I don't need anything else, I become stagnant. And if I become stagnant, look what happens in the garden. We just kind of wither away. We go back into the earth, maybe we're new fertilization, maybe a little place for the lizard kingdom to hop about. But when we are open and ready, the messages come through, and there is a time and a place that we no longer have to be the receiver of the teachings, but we become the giver, the teacher. We are now expressing that divine potential within us, and if we believe like attracts like, then you're going to bring more into your likeness. And we're going to stretch and grow and ask questions. And we're going to ask ourselves things like, what is that purpose? And have I done all I've come to do? And then I love when certain people come up to me and they say, I am preparing for my next whatever that adventure is. And I look over there and say, thank God I got shots in my knees, and you're talking about a 6-month hike. So we don't want to be limited. We want to be fulfilled. And we want to be part of that greatness that is calling us to be even a bigger expression. We don't want to sit on the couch alone in front of that TV and zone in. Have you seen this next? Now, you got a phone, you got a computer, and you got a TV. You got three things coming at once. So if I'm ever on a retreat, I don't call you back. Give me a break. I'll call you when there's a break, but I'm not doing three things at once. I think we all deserve a break from all of this technology, this energy field. And if you're in a place of leadership and people come to you all the time, sometimes you're like, I need a timeout. I need a timeout. So I just greatly appreciated, and I was surprised because, it's Texas. And I happen to have family in Texas. And I told my family in Texas, I will only come back for a wedding and a funeral. Well, I've been to the wedding. So we open our minds to explore where we put our limits, and we say, but what if there is something more? If I constrain what the ideas are, guess who's constraining? If I want to open my mind, if I want to see a different worldview, if I want to be that accepting person, if I want to create that place of belonging, some of the topics get sticky. We don't know them. We're not educated about them. We haven't experienced them directly. And then the very people who say, no, 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 watch closely. It could be their child. It could be their beloved. It could be their best friend. And we don't know until we have an experience. And we look around the world and we start to say, but you don't know them. You don't know them. You're making up a story that isn't true because you don't know them. And then we have an opportunity to go inside and ask ourselves the question, if we are all part of one collective consciousness, and I will call it good, and we are all of this entity, this formation, this energetic field, that at the heart of it is love, then there's sort of a part, how dare you pass judgment on how someone else shows up. Because at the heart of all that essence, that stardust, that creation in the universe, we're all one. And why would you, the beloved, ever turn away the one? We don't know. We're ignorant. We're uneducated. But we have a consciousness that says, seek beyond what you already know. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. And to me, that means be in wonder. Be in awe. Open those doors, that consciousness, that thought place, because that's where it all begins, that perception. And we say, what if? How would it feel if? Maybe I don't have all the answers. And before you is the beloved child of God. And within you is that beloved child of God, reaching out, saying, let's do more of this. Let's share more of who we are. Let us begin to examine the places in our life that we have closed down, tamped down. Gay Hendricks called that the little professor. So as a child, he must have been a little bit heavy because the children were making fun of him. So he couldn't deal with that. And he had this little professor image that came out who knew everything, studied everything. You ever had that person in your classroom? The one that you're like, oh my God, she's going on and on again. And we could have been out for lunch by now. So the little professor was clamping down on, see, I have value. See, I have worth. I don't feel it in my circle, but see what I can do. And then we do things like we hide. Or maybe we have substances to fill ourselves up. Falsifications, false idols, false gods, money, alcohol, bad habits, unhealthy habits. And at some point we look inside those shadow realms. Who am I? Who am I really to doubt that I am made? I am made in the image and likeness of God. And if that's a true statement, and we talk about that which is within is without, then this outer peripheral realm, if it's showing up statically and turbulently, where does it start? What is our opportunity for healing? What is inside? For whatever is inside is going to be projected outside. And it gives us another opportunity to look at ourselves and to declare with courage, I am amazing. I am. That's the God. I am. What shall we call you? What do they call you? I am amazing. I sat down with somebody and counseled this last week. When I counsel, obviously something's up, right? So I looked at this individual and I said, I want to share something from the retreat. Michael Gott played this beautiful song, You Are Amazing. Can you say that with me?
You are amazing.
We are amazing.
We are amazing.
And then I looked at this person and I said, I want you to say, I am amazing. And this person went, I said, all right, we're going to do it again. We're going to do you. Y'all ready? You are amazing. We are amazing. Now stand in your power. I am amazing. Yes. But it takes a little something because we don't always believe it. Sometimes we think it's great that you are and it's great that we are. We can get there. But can I take that I am God, I am presence, and say I am? So I had done this little thing on the retreat, and I'm walking back to my room, and we do things all the time, and it hits us at different times, however we receive it. And I went, man, if you're so amazing, why are you bogged down with this administrative crap? Start doing the things you love to do, because that's what feeds my heart. That's where I feed you. So when I want to do the paint and poetry, I want to do the goddess classes. I want to do something around prosperity. This is what feeds me to feed you. And it becomes joyous. It's no longer work. And I'm so grateful for Reverend Marilyn. I'm so grateful we have a new person coming on board because I'm ready to release some of that stuff. And if there's a place or a piece inside you that says, I can give you 1 day a week. Can I make some copies? What can I do? I can help with garage sales and clean up. What can I do? Because we are a collective consciousness. We are brave. We are courageous. We are filled with dreams and desires, and we are ready to be present. Are you ready to be present?
Yes.
We are ready to be present. So can we say one more time together, you are amazing. We are amazing. I am amazing. Yes, put your hands in the air like you just don't care. Yeah. I love that. I love that because we embrace it. We grab a hold of it, and sometimes it feels shaky because that's who we are. We're discovering what we can do. And then there's that beautiful essence inside that goes, oh, wow, what a celebration. What a celebration. Because I look at our integral bodies, and I think every little part has to work with every little part. And if you get biblical, it says in the Bible in Corinthians, if I am not a foot, does that make me less a part of the body? Because if you could not see, does that mean you are also not part of the body? No. In spirit, we are all one. And if we are all one, then we want to lift up the people around us. And not only do we want to lift them up, we want to be a part of that higher consciousness, yes? Yes. So let's take that into prayer, and I'm going to invite you to close those outer eyes again. Just take that big, glorious breath in. Fill yourself all the way up. And together, you are amazing.
You are amazing.
We are amazing.
We are amazing.
Declare it to be true. I am amazing.
I am amazing.
One more time. I am amazing. And so it is. Thank you, God. Amen.